All right, so rather than going after them one on one, I'm just going to take the whole kit and caboodle at once. NATO. Now, what is NATO? North American Treaty Organization. All right, so it's really not North American. It's the Northern Hemisphere, kind of more or less. Europe, America, basically making an alliance pact that if they're attacked by the Russians, that they would defend as if they were attacked themselves. Um, it was put in place shortly after World War II because they saw the threat that the Russians could be. Um, and once the Cold War ended, everybody thought, well, you don't really need NATO anymore, um, which to a certain extent was true. Um, and to say that the NATO partners have been taking advantage of us ever since would be an understatement. Their commitment to NATO is non existent. I don't know that it was ever really that existent, even in the past, but certainly since the fall of the Soviet Union, it has become almost a untenable position for America, more or less defending the world and seeing no benefit from it, really, to speak of. Um, what I would recommend to President Trump is one of two avenues. Um, he should either A, start NATO version 2.0, and this one would be more hardline, but start NATO version 2.0. In order to get into NATO, you have to have been a member of NATO in the first place. You would have to adopt our Bill of Rights. In other words, free speech, gun rights, search and seizure, all that stuff. They would have to adopt that as part of their country's constitution, referendums, whatever they want to call it. And no country who has violated the Bill of Rights in at least a year is eligible to join. So that would mean Britain would be out, Germany would be out, France, anybody else who has basically jailed people for speaking out against their government, out. And you've got to have a full year of not persecuting your own people for voicing their opinions. You'd be excluded completely. Excluded. Couldn't come in even if you begged us. Even if the Russians were at the door. Couldn't come in. Don't care. Don't want to hear it. That would be the more, I don't want to say vicious, but that would be the more hardline approach that you could take. The second one, they'd take it to court, but it would be doable. Call it the NATO tax. Since you're not going to pay up with your GDP or anything like that, then we're going to do a NATO tax. Anybody who's in NATO, 25% import tax, automatic, no matter what. And that money goes to reimbursing the United States for all the money that we spend basically protecting you. And if you want to get into reciprocal after that, if you jack us up for 25% or whatever, then we're going to jack you up whatever extra you impose upon us. So it would be basically a trade war situation again. But if you call it the NATO tax, basically being reimbursed for protecting you, the seas, anything and everything under the sun from foreign invaders or terrorists or anything like that, that's a justifiable tax. That's an expenditure on the United States and the American people to keep Europe free and safe. This would be the hardline version, wouldn't cost anything in the long run. The other one, you'd have to change your constitution and stuff like that in order to get into NATO version 2.0. I think both of them are viable. I think the second one that I gave with the tax would probably be the easiest and the least likely to fail. Because once you say it's a NATO tax for taking care of people, it's pretty much understood. You're not asking people to adopt your way of life or anything like that. The second one, although I think it would be better in the long run, it would be a harder fought battle. But anyways, let me know what you think. Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Have a good night.